Hi Libra, welcome to your July 2018 Astro Update. It's Rena here. So Libra, in the month of July, the big news on the transits front is that we have eclipses, a pair of them, and for you this is going to affect your 10th house of career as well as your 5th house of romance and creativity. So let's get right into it. As the month begins, the sun is in Cancer, and for you, Cancer is the 10th house of career. And so with the sun in the 10th house, you are in that frame of mind of wanting to advance, wanting to feel proud of your achievements. And this is going to be important because this is where the action is on the 12th. When we have the solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Cancer. And this is going to be, because solar eclipses are very powerful new moons, this can open up a whole bunch of possibilities and opportunities for you in the coming months as 2018 comes to a close. So you may find that if you've had any kind of stagnation in your career, that all of a sudden it takes off like gangbusters. And so that's very exciting when it's occurring in one of the angular houses like the 10th house, which is a very important part of life. The 10th house is your reputation in the world. And so how people view you and, showing off your talents and things like that. This is where you get your fame, and I'm, being kind of facetious about that, but that sense of like your identity in the material world is in that 10th house. And so with the solar eclipse there, that's very good energy for something to advance or expand, at least in terms of your prospects. Now, a couple of days before this eclipse, and specifically on the 9th, we have Venus going into Virgo in your 12th house of past lives, mysticism, it can be karma, and this means that for the first 9 days, Venus is in the 11th house of hopes and wishes, which is considered the luckiest house. And Venus can bring money to whatever house she travels through. So you can benefit financially through your friendships. It's the house of friendships and groups. And you can even find love through your social circle. But then Venus goes into that 12th house on the 9th in Virgo, and maybe you meet somebody through a group of friends, but you decide to keep your romance secret for now because maybe you don't want other people kind of analyzing your relationship or, putting in their own 2 cents, and you just want to have that to yourself. The 12th house can be the house of secrets and doing things behind the scenes. And it can even be like meeting your soulmate, meeting like that kind of twin flame, that karmic relationship, but not karmic in a bad sort of way, but karmic, like a fated type of relationship that is your other half. And that you really feel this strong spiritual connection to. And then the very next day, Jupiter turns direct. And for you, because Scorpio is where what sign Jupiter is in right now, that's your 2nd house of earned income. So that's very nice in terms of money. Maybe you felt a bit of a slowdown in terms of the money that you earn. And this is going to bring everything up to a roaring forward motion. But it may be more like August because it's going to hang out at this 13-degree mark, which is the degree, that's how far it went retrograde. But staying at that, as it stations direct, it's staying at that point. And from what I understand, when it's at its most powerful, when it's either stationing retrograde or stationing direct in that particular degree. So there may be more of a forward motion as we get into August and beyond. So don't expect like that day for everything to change, but you never know. It might. You might just start to feel that sense of relief that your money situation is improving. And definitely with Jupiter in the second house, it is very good for expanding your resources. And then we have the solar eclipse on the 12th, and then on the 22nd, the sun goes into Leo. And this is that 11th house again, hopes and wishes, friendships, groups. And because Leo is a friendly angle to you, Libra, it forms a sextile. You should start to feel really good right around this third week of the month. Because as nice as it is to have Cancer, to have these transits in Cancer, which is in your 10th house of career, it's forming a square to your sun. And so that's always going to create a bit of tension. And I suppose that, whoever you want to attribute astrology to God, I guess, God set it up to make tension to our sun in order to get us to evolve. That makes sense, because sometimes you need a little bit of contrast in order to feel what is the right next move for yourself. A lot of times when people look at astrological charts and they see that the person has a lot of trines and sextiles, they think, wow, this person must be really lucky and fortunate. And maybe it's true. They might even be born into a wealthy family. However, it doesn't mean that they're going to take advantage of those opportunities, because sometimes when things come too easily to you, which is kind of what a trine is, it's a very easy to obtain. The energy flows very easily, especially with a trine versus a sextile. And that can indicate that people have things really come to them that they don't really have to work for, but do they value it? Because that can lead to complacency. And you often see that in the tabloids, the children of famous Hollywood parents or rock stars, what have you. And they, have problems because they're living in the shadow of their parents' fame. They don't have a sense of their own identity, and they have everything they could ever want handed to them. So where's that sense of urgency? Where is that drive going to come from? You have to pull it out from somewhere when there's no obstacles to fight against or to push against. So anyway, getting back to what is happening here, the sun goes into that 11th house. You may feel more social, and Librans are social as it is, but now you might even feel more so. And a few days later, on the 25th or 26th of the month, depending on where you live in the world, Mercury goes retrograde. And this is in Leo, 23 degrees of Leo. This is that 11th house as well. So you have to watch for any kind of misunderstanding, communication breakdown with friendships, where they misunderstand what you say or you misunderstand what they say. You may be rethinking a long-held dream of yours. Maybe you have more information or you're going to research it more. This could even be like a place that you want to move to. And you may have it all set out you may have had it all worked out in your mind that in 5 years you're going to move across the country or to a different country. And then you read something in a newspaper or online and it says something about that area and you start to think, oh, do I really want to live there? And you start to research and you decide whether or not that's the case for you, if it's being overly dramatized. It can be regarding your friendships. Maybe you're rethinking the people that you hang around. This could be because of your own evolution, where you feel like you want to surround yourself by people who have your best interests at heart and who are going places themselves. With this solar eclipse in your 10th house, you may be feeling like this sense of this is your time for career matters to really get on fire. And you are really aware of how other people can affect your, your drive, your sense of even the ability to achieve these things. And if you're around people who are negative, who are kind of scoffing at your dreams, you may just be like, you know what, I don't really think that these people are people that I vibe with anymore. And so whether or not you make that final decision, the point is that there's like a rethinking of all of that. And, it's interesting because you did have a lunar eclipse in this sector back at the end of January. So you may have already kind of given the heave-ho to some people that you were hanging with. And maybe you hear back from old friends, and maybe there are some of those people, because sometimes Mercury retrograde, you can hear back from people from your past. So very interesting. And then we have the lunar eclipse. So that we have the solar eclipse on the 12th, and then we have the lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Aquarius, either the 27th or 28th, depending on where you live in the world. And this is going to be your 5th house of romance. I wonder what this could mean. Well, lunar eclipses tend to be when things are taken out of your life. So, we can say, oh, you're going to break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend during that time. But that's a little bit simplistic. Lunar eclipses are powerful full moons. And full moons are not just endings. Full moons can be a culmination of your efforts. So if you've been dating someone and you have this powerful full moon, it could be heightened awareness. And it could be like, whoa, I need to be with this person for the rest of my life. I can't let this person get away, because maybe, who knows, maybe something comes into it where this person leaves. Now, it might not be because of anything like a fight or anything like that. It could be that they get transferred to another geographical location, and you are separated from them, and you realize how much you miss them. And then you are like, I have to have this person in my life. So even though there's an ending, there's that sense of awareness being heightened of what this person really means to you. So that's another way of looking at it, and that could be affecting some people. But yeah, it's possible that, something ends and it's just like you didn't see it coming, or they didn't see it coming. You decide to break it off, and they are, left in shock. I mean, especially when you're looking at Aquarius, which is a very unpredictable kind of a sign. It's ruled by Uranus and Saturn, but Uranus is where we get the unpredictability aspect. And so it could be like a sudden break. Actually, lunar, I was going to say lunar eclipses. I mean Aquarius as a full moon of, at any time can be a great time to break bad habits. Now, in the 5th house, it could be a bad habit of a relationship that is toxic. So maybe that's a great time to write a Dear John letter or a Dear Jane letter and say, bye, Felicia. And but anyway, that's what I have for you, Libra. And if you like this sort of look at the transits, and you would like something that is specific to your date of birth and time of birth, hit me up. I'm online, and I have a website, and I'm going to link my natal chart interpretation, which also looks at your psyche. Not that I psychoanalyze you. I'm not a I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, but I'm looking at kind of the patterns and the motivations. It's kind of, it's just kind of fun to see personality traits and talents, and also look at the upcoming energy that's the influences astrologically for the coming 12 months, for that period of time. So I'll link that below this video, and I wish you all the best in July. Bye.